Hello everyone. So this podcast is going to be one of the best podcasts available on the internet where you will get the real insights of a trader, how a real trader approach and how to actually make in trading. Because if you'll go in the social media now and if you'll see all the things, you will find out there are so many flashy things. Somebody's making that, somebody's doing that, someone's bought that, but nobody tells the real trading. And there is one guy who has been telling all the real stuff, not just in this video from years back. But the only problem is we as an individual get attracted by the flashy things only and underestimate the person who is actually trying to teach you and give you real knowledge, real insights about the market. I don't know you have guessed it or not, but today we have Umar Ashraf with us, and he is extremely talented trader, extremely good at what he is doing, and he is going to share lot of real insights with you all, so that you can actually learn and grow and know the what real trading actually is. So let's not waste much time and let's directly go into the podcast.
Hey, brother, what's going on?
All good, all good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Great. Thank you so much, for being here, for taking out time. I know there has been a lot of things
Oh,
going
thank
on,
you.
so
Yeah, I
thank you
know.
so
Thank you
much.
for having me, man. I saw your pod and I was like, man, this guy's really good.
Thank you so
I'd love
much.
to have a conversation with him on it. So
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you so much. So I need to, say a special thank you to you because when I was also, a bit finding difficult in trading, I used to watch you also. A lot of videos of yours. So it's all about, psychology and everything, and that helped me a lot. So thank you so much again for being here. Thank you. It means a lot to
Thank
me.
you. I appreciate it.
My first question is, what triggered you to get into trading? Everybody wants to know what is the first thing that motivated Umar Ashraf to be in trading, and let's just start the thing.
So what motivated me to be into trading was honestly just money. I was
Oh,
18 at the time. I looked at Forbes.com. I looked at the richest people in Forbes, and all the
yes,
top people were hedge fund managers.
yes.
And I was like, oh, what is a hedge fund manager?
Oh,
Oh, this is what a hedge fund manager essentially does. It's not the
okay.
same thing as those traders, but
Yes,
they're
yes,
involved in the
yes,
stock
yes,
market.
yes,
So
yes.
from there, I was like, okay, let me get involved in this market. It was
Great.
also coming from like my background. I didn't want to become a doctor or
Okay.
engineer or anything like that. I just wanted to do something different. I don't want to go in that traditional career path as
Yes.
how Pakistanis, Indians, we
Yes,
all have to
yes,
go
yes,
through. Our
yes, yes,
parents pressure us.
absolutely,
So yeah.
absolutely. I can totally relate a lot with this because when we're born, it's like always go for a doctor or an engineer or something like that. If you're taking a different path, it's straight away a no. What India what everyone family used to do is ki if you want to be a trader, if you want to be anything, if you want to be a social media anything, nowadays things have become so exposed. But as of now also, parents used to say that to the children ki you should do engineering first and then pursue the second thing. You should
Yes.
make yourself safe first, which is fine as from their perspective because they don't want us to be poor. But I can totally relate with that. So
Yeah.
primarily the money thing, and then you got to know, okay, I have bigger dreams and I have to
Yeah,
go
it
it
was
out.
it was just bigger dreams in terms of what is something that doesn't have a glass ceiling, what is something where I can keep growing and obviously
Yes.
make a good living out of. Not to say other things you can't do that, but trading was that one thing where I saw exponential growth
Great,
available.
great,
And
great,
this was
great.
like back in 2012, 2013, when
Sorry.
trading wasn't as big as it is today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you started 2012.
2012, 2013, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is very great coincidence because the first time when I got heard about trading, that okay, trading is something like that, this is how we can money is, was 2013 only. And then that was the time when I thought ki, okay, I can do something just came in my mind that okay, this is how we can make some money. And then I was like, okay, I'll just try, give it a try. And then from that it was on and off, on and off, on and off, and then it became full time. So great, great. All right, that was a great answer. So, and one more thing. I really like your honesty. You just straight away said money was the biggest reason for you. So that's really appreciated. Great.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just make things up of like, oh, this. I'm like, no, I was 17, 18. I
Yeah.
wanted to make, money. That was it.
Correct, 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 correct. Great, great. All right. So my second question is, how much time you take to become profitable? Because I know trading can be different for everyone. Specifically for you, how much time you take it to just get into the winning trade, or you can say become profitable?
Sure. So it took me 2.5 years about to become profitable,
Wow.
but I didn't feel like I can continuously be profitable until year 6, 7.
Okay.
So year 2.5, I'm green for the year. Year 3, I'm green. Year 4, I'm green. Year 5, I'm green. But every one of those years, I keep going. Well, can I be green again next year? Can I keep doing
Okay.
this?
Okay.
And so that confidence and that ability to navigate the markets at a high level wasn't there until like year 6, 7.
Okay.
But profitability, I kicked in year 2, 2.5.
That's great. That's great because that's really a like you are a very quick learner because usually what people what so many people I've met so far. So most of them, including me, I was the one who got into it probably fifth or sixth year was in green. Before that, it was just red, green, red, green. It was like that. So really nice.
Yeah, even my green in like year 2 and 3, it wasn't like big green. It was small green, but it was
Huh.
just green.
But
Like
it
it was like, okay, I walked out the year, not
yes.
in a drawdown. I'm
Yes,
good,
that's
But
a
like,
big thing. That's a big thing.
yeah,
Usually you also agree to this. Most of the people say ki even if you are in at the break even level in a year or two, that's also a very big win.
that's good.
Correct.
Yes,
So
yes, huge win.
huge. It's a huge win. So closing it in a green, it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah, no,
Great.
absolutely. I tell traders all the time, if you can close year 1, 2, 3 and be even break
Yes.
even if you're red a little bit, that's a big win.
Big
The
win.
last thing you want to do is you want to be in a big drawdown and just keep burning your capital, because without capital, we can't trade. So
We can
look at
trade.
capital as
Absolutely.
oxygen, right? So if
Absolutely.
you get rid of oxygen, you're dead.
Correct.
If you get rid of
Correct.
capital, you're out of the market. So
Correct.
your job as a trader is to make sure you are alive and you're able to keep capital there as long as possible. And that's
Correct.
why I always say traders early on that are developing, you have to risk the least amount. You have to make sure your drawdowns are protected. You have
Correct.
to make sure you're not just taking random trades. You're
Correct.
looking at
Correct.
trading from a point of how can I make sure I stay alive for 2 years or 3 years. And if you're able to do that, you have a higher probability of succeeding.
Amazing. That was a phenomenal answer. I hope everybody get to this point and makes notes because that was a really great answer. Very nice. Really happy to hear that. All right.
Thank you.
So when you were in a second or third year, so how did you manage your psychology? Because most of the people think when it comes to trading, if they're making loss, they only think that my trading psychology is the only reason to lose. How did you manage that?
So, I mean, early on, I always thought it was my psychology. Like year 1, I was like, oh my God, it's because I'm greedy or because I'm fearful or because I don't want to take profits or whatever.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
at one point, I was like, wait, I don't know what I'm actually doing. I don't have an edge. I don't have a
Hmm.
well-defined system in the markets. I
Hmm.
can't blame my psychology.
Hmm.
My psychology only becomes in play when I have a proven system that I'm
Correct.
able to make money from the markets.
Correct.
Right? A lot
Correct.
of people they'll jump into trading, and 1 month later, they're like, "Oh, it's my psychology," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, what is your
Exactly.
edge?"
Exactly. Exactly.
You can't blame psychology until you have an edge. Psychology does play a role, but it
Role.
plays a role once you develop the system that works and you're able to make money from that. And
Correct.
as you start to scale that system up, that is when psychology plays a role,
Plays
and
a
that
role.
is when we should focus on psychology.
Correct, correct. Very clean answer. Very nice. Really happy. So my second question is related. So third question is related to this only. When it comes to your edge, how did you develop your edge? Means how? What was the initial process? It was a journaling or whatever the process that you followed to basically you get to know. Okay, okay, this thing is working for me. Now I have to just do a sneak peek here and there, and then I can be more better. How did you develop that edge?
So I think if you're intentionally trading and paying attention to the markets, that helps you kind of add on to developing an edge. So the way I started doing it is obviously first and foremost, the way I traded very early on
Hmm.
in 2013, 2014 is very different than I trade now, right?
Okay.
But at that point, my whole idea was the few ways I'm looking at the market. It starts from like, this is the way I'm looking at the market. These are the few setups that come from the market,
Hmm.
right? Like, for example, right now,
Correct.
I am looking at the market as an auction. As I'm
Correct.
looking at the market as an auction, what are the inefficiencies the market has to present for me to execute a trade? Now,
Very
the way I
nice.
start developing that edge is I have to actually analyze the market, collect data, and then work backwards. So I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
Early on, every day before I went into the market, I would create a pre-market game plan.
Okay.
So today,
Great.
these are my levels.
Hmm.
This is what happened pre-market.
Hmm.
This is what happened in yesterday's session. These are the 2, 3 scenarios that I think may possibly happen, and here's why.
All right.
Then after the session is done, I would go back to those notes and say, well, what did I miss? What happened? And then when you do that over and over again for years and years, you start developing a good read on the market. You start developing a good understanding of the different opportunities that present themselves.
Correct.
And then kind of incorporating an edge or incorporating a setup in between that
Correct.
becomes very easy compared to people just saying, oh, well, if it hits this line 2 times, I'm going to buy. Or if it hits this level,
Correct.
and it's like, that isn't directly going to work.
Exactly. Great. That was a really great insight. And by my experience, I can say whosoever is watching this, and if it has paid attention on the last few lines which he had said, it's really down the line. Because if we actually track whatever we make a plan, we track, and then we do it again and again, I think now I get to know why you were green on the second year. Now I got to know. That was great.
Yeah, there was a lot of work like that I was doing, and I think even now I spend a lot of time. Like, I was in Florida not too long ago, and I had a few people that were just hanging around me when I was trading, and they were like, "Wow, I didn't know you spend this much time on perfecting your craft."
Correct.
And I was like, "Yeah, people see the 30-minute trade
Yes.
that I take,
Yes.
but people don't realize the write-ups, the research, the understanding the market context, spending screen time, spending time on and off the screen,
Correct.
and all of those hours and hours and hours that go in that results into that 10, 20, 30-minute trade."
Great. That's great. They should be amazed. In fact, after getting these lines, I also figured out for myself where I have the scope now to get improved. This is the point where I can put my work in and just get a better and better day by day. That was great. Thank you so much for this answer. Very nice. Lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So my next question is kind of a mixed question. It's for beginners and intermediate. So if let's say a person is there who has heard the trading for the first time and they want to start now, what will be that one advice from a professional trader like you would you like to give? Okay, if you want to really make in trading from the day one, you have to do this consistently, or whatever the points.
Sure. So I think if you're starting out, there's two things. Number one, don't aim to make money in year one.
Very nice.
Just get rid of the idea of making money. Just
Lovely. Love the answer.
Your focus in year one should be, how do I make sure I become a good trader? Right? And a good trader in year one will not result into making money. Or a good trader could be developing an edge. It could be you following, to execute on your stop loss. It could be you following to execute on your game plans. It could be you identifying good trading opportunities. It's you position sizing into trades in a timely manner. It's you knowing when to trade, when not to trade. Right? So that's the first thing of becoming a developing good trader. Second is, in my opinion, I think every trader should track and analyze their data, journal their data, track and analyze it, build a well-defined system. Hey, before I start trading every single day, I need to journal my pre-market game plan. I need to write down what my pre-market game plan is. My pre-market game plan is X, Y, and Z. After I'm done with the session, all the trades I've taken, I need to write them out. What was my risk? What happened while I was in the trade? What did I miss? Did I get a good entry? Did I get a bad exit? Like, what happened to that? You do that for months and months and months and months and months out, you will start developing a really good read for the market. You might not be profitable, but you are getting better. There's two kind of graphs as a developing trader. One is like the profitable level. The profit level stays flat, but your developing level goes up. Eventually, what happens is when your developing level catches up, this profit level starts picking up too. But you have to be patient during this time. A lot of people here rush it. They stop doing these things, and then they go in a big drawdown.
Correct. That was a very clean answer. Very nice. Loved it. So my other question is, it was actually primarily for the reach and audience, because audience really like to do hear flashy things and all. So I hope you're okay with that.
Of course.
Perfect. So now the question is, what was your first car, and which car you drive now?
Very interesting. I mean, the first cool car I bought, or first car I had? I mean,
first car you had.
Oh, I probably had I think I was 18. I had a Nissan Altima at the time. Yeah, a Nissan Altima. Right now, currently, I don't really own any cars. I'm kind of out of the car phase. I bought my sister's cars, if you guys saw.
Yeah,
I
I
bought
saw
one
that.
of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
bought one of them Lamborghini SVJ, another
yeah,
one a 812 GTS.
yeah.
So myself, I hit a wall where I don't care about the cars anymore, right?
Amazing,
I think when I
amazing.
was 25, I had an SV, I had a McLaren, I had like a bunch of different stuff.
Okay,
But it's like now
you're done with it.
I have a
Okay, okay.
I'm
Now,
done with
now,
like sports cars for
great,
this current stage, to be
great,
honest.
great, great, great.
I like watches. I like watches. I'm into
Nice,
watches. I'm into
nice,
traveling.
nice,
I like
nice,
freedom.
nice.
So it's like
Really
there's other
nice.
things I enjoy more now
Really nice.
than like
Now,
a
now,
flashy
now,
car.
now, I'm really loved with those answer. Second thing which I related is I thought ki I am the only boring guy who just kind of not into cars so much. People are into cars and big flashy things so much. I thought I was the only one, but now I can relate. That's a really good answer. And
I think it's good. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
honestly, I am currently driving a probably 9 years old car. It's a 9 year old Audi, and I'm just okay with it. People
Yeah.
like to see, people think actually in Instagram and all these, who are there and watching social media and think, they think buying new cars is what makes you into trading. If you have a Lambo, if you have Rolls Royce, if you have like this, then that is what a real trader is. Now this is a very good advice for the people who are watching this. Real trader, or if you want to actually be happy in life, traveling, freedom, and all these things which you should aim for, rather than just going for flashy
Of
things.
course,
Very
I think
nice.
social media has made it look like, oh, you need to have a nice car, and if
Yes,
you have a nice
yes,
car,
yes,
it
yes,
makes
yes.
you a good trader. Nowadays, it's the opposite. Nowadays, I think most non-profitable traders have a nice car
Have a nice
to
car.
sell something to get
Correct,
attention, and that's
correct,
it.
correct, correct, correct. This is a very
Yeah,
very nice answer. Yeah, that was
yeah.
really great, really good. So
So I think it shows a lot about you, for example, you for you to be like, hey, I'm content with what I have. I don't care
I don't
to
care.
go buy this stuff to,
Correct.
satisfy you people. I'm
Correct,
happy with this.
correct.
And I think that's the greatest self-power you can have. So hats off to you for that,
Correct.
man.
Correct. Correct. Thank you. Thank you so much. So that was a very, really great conversation, especially for the young people who are, 18 and 19. They should be choosing
Yeah.
the real things rather than your fake things. Now this question was actually from one of my follower. Is it really possible to make $1 billion with trading?
Is it really possible to make $1 billion
$1 billion worth.
self-trading?
Yep.
Probably only 0.001% chance, if I'm being honest, unless you go raise money.
Raise
If
money.
you manage money and you're a hedge fund, sure.
Sure.
I think as an individual trader, it's a very low probability, like 0.01%. I don't know anyone that's done it
That's right.
because
So
it
right.
becomes very capital constrained, right? It's
Yes.
like unless
Yes.
you
Yes.
you keep doing it for 30 years and you keep growing the same capital over and over again,
Over and
sure.
over.
But it's like unless you go raise outside money and
Yes.
you start kind of swing trading and kind of position trading, I think it becomes difficult. Can you make tens of millions of dollars from trading? Yes.
Yes. Yes. You did
A
already.
billion,
You have
maybe.
proved. You are
Yeah.
you have proved this already. So
Yeah, like now, billions of dollars from an individual trader, I think very low
low
probability.
probability. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Now, second question. Just pointing to the same thing, attaching to the same thing. Is it possible for an individual to make, let's say, for example, $100,000 from $1,000? Is it possible?
Is it possible to make 100,000 from $1,000?
Yes.
Uh, it's possible, but very, very low probability again,
Very
right?
nice.
It's
Great.
like 1 out of 1,000 people will do it, or 1 out of 100,000 people will maybe do it.
Great.
But you want to look at the middle that's repeatable.
Yes.
What's the
Yes.
repeatable element that's done?
Yes.
And in the repeatable
Yes.
element, it's really difficult, it's really rare, and it requires you to take an immense amount of risk.
Immense amount of risk. Exactly. Now, why I ask this question is because all of the young age people, they think that they're gonna get into some kind of magical course and they'll put $1,000 and then they'll start trading and then they'll push it to $100,000, then they'll push it to $500,000 into $1 million, and then they'll keep the rotation on. So technically,
Yeah.
it's like 1 in a million chance. If
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think because of the influencers in this space now,
yes,
people give that wrong annotation, and I feel bad for that for the young people coming
yes,
up
yes,
because they see it and then
yes,
they get their $1,000 and
yes.
they try the same thing, they lose
Correct,
it, they keep
correct,
doing that,
correct, correct,
and they're stuck in this cycle for many, many years
correct.
because they have this illusion that you can make millions of dollars from
Millions of
like
dollars.
$100 or whatever it
Exactly,
is.
exactly,
It's
exactly.
not the way to look at it.
Correct, correct, great. So thank you so much for the because you have that you did that phase where you started your journey and then you make your capital huge. So you are the very good person to answer this. When it comes to me, actually, I believe in one thing. Money is kind of energy. You should never reveal it
Yes.
to others, no matter how much money you have. Just keep it a secret.
Yes.
But
Yes.
since everybody knows about you, how much you have gained from individual trades to making a $10 million. So it's very very important for them to understand that it is very rare to pushing $1,000 capital to $100,000 capital.
Yes.
So this
Yeah. Extreme.
stop wasting your money on the stupid courses and focus on real trading. That's the thing. That's great. Very nice.
I
And
agree.
by the way, sorry to cut you here. Those who are watching this, do give a subscribe and a like to Umar Ashraf. I'll just pin down the link also in the
I
description.
appreciate it.
So
Thank you.
that's really important, because why I need people to follow real people, because there are, when someone talks about real trading, people think it's boring, and people actually don't follow them.
Yeah.
When I saw you and your profile, and I have seen many people having millions of followers who are just posting random stuff, flashy card and this and that, and millions of views. And person who is making real effort to the community is getting very low engagement, and that really feds me up. People really need to
Yeah.
understand this thing. So do give a follow and do give a subscribe. That was great. All right.
I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, now just to now this thing. Although money is energy, if you are okay with this, then you can reveal it. If you're not, then it's totally
Sure.
no need to reveal this thing. But what was your biggest loss so far on a single trade, and what was your biggest profit on a single trade? If you're okay with it,
Sure.
else if not,
Yeah,
no,
of
no, it's
course.
fine. Okay,
I've shared this before too, and my biggest loss was in 2020. I shorted the market
2020. Okay.
right before the pandemic happened. I was shorting the
Oh,
market. I was
okay,
$500,000 in buy
okay,
puts.
okay.
That position went to roughly about 900,000.
Oh,
Right, so I put 500,000. I'm up to 900K. I'm up $400,000 in profit.
yeah,
And if you guys remember, in like March or April of 2020, the market had like a big V recovery.
yeah. Big V
On that
recovery.
V
Yes,
recovery,
yes.
yeah,
So,
my 900 went to 700,
oh,
400, 200, 100, and I lost
oh,
that. So that was like my biggest loss, which is 500,000 of my capital
okay.
and 400,000 of
Profit.
unrealized profits. I would maybe say 900 grand
900
was
grand is
like the biggest
yeah,
loss.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
will be
yeah,
the, because money
yeah,
saved is equals to money, and this is what I learn in trading.
yeah.
So that's a $900,000 loss. All right,
Exactly.
that's a big thing. Now, sorry to cut you here. What was the biggest learning that you got from that loss? That will be very interesting for the audience.
Yeah, so I always say that loss was probably one of the best things in my trading career that happened, because
Great.
it's really allowed me to relook at my trading and just to take a step back. After that loss, the next year I had my biggest trading year ever, which we'll talk about.
That was great. Yeah,
But when that loss happened, I realized, like, number one, the market is always right.
yeah.
Which you already you already know these things in the back of your mind, but when you
Yes.
get like when you
Yes.
take a
Yes.
deep cut,
Yes.
it sticks with you longer,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So it's number one, the market is always right. Like, hey, no matter what I think market's gonna do, market is right.
All right. Right.
Number two, whenever I go into positions, there becomes this bias, and sometimes the bias fights with the ego. Where if I tell you, hey, I think the market's gonna go down,
Yes.
and you're like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I should still be open-minded to listen
Hmm.
to everyone's opinions. I think
Yeah.
what happened at that time is I was in a heavy position, and when I was like, market's gonna go lower, everyone was like, no,
Hmm.
and I became more attached to my position
Hmm.
without taking a step back.
Hmm.
Right. So I was looking at that from looking at things from that level, like, don't get attached to positions. Be okay in being wrong. I should have
Yes.
accepted I was wrong
Yes.
early on, taken my loss. And yeah, that was it. That kind of reshaped a lot of my
Great.
trading.
Great insights. Great insight. So basically, it's like one of the biggest thing that people can learn is never get attached to your positions and always listen to others. You can be wrong at any time.
Yeah, of
Perfect.
course.
Perfect. And then, what was your biggest year, or biggest profit in a single trade, and what was the learning behind that?
Yeah, the biggest profit was a firm in 2021.
Okay.
I made about 1.1 million on that kind of trade.
Great.
And that was the same year I had my biggest year, where I made 7.5 million
Amazing.
for that trading year. So the year before was like the biggest loss. I still walked out that year green, which is great. I think I walked out 2 million green.
Oh,
And then the next year I had my biggest trading year, which was 7.5 million. Yeah.
amazing. Amazing.
And the biggest learning from that, and even till now, I tell every trader is,
Hmm.
as a trader, we can't control the opportunities that exist in the market. We can only control ourselves. So if we
Correct.
control ourselves, then when
Yes.
the opportunities do present itself and we're ready, mentally and financially, we'll be able to make money, right? So, for example, let's say for the next 1 month, the market has no opportunity, market's
Yes.
flat, very tough
Yes.
to kind of trade in.
Yes. Yes.
Preserve your capital, play defense, don't aim to make money, let the market keep doing what it's doing. Now, when the following month you get the big days, you get the big opportunities because you preserved your capital, preserved your mental capital. You're now able to execute on those trades.
Correct.
So what happens with most traders is they'll start a year off or a month off, and they want to make money every day. By the end of the month, they've killed their mental capital and financial capital.
Correct.
Now, the next month, the next week, when the opportunities are present,
Yes.
they can't take
They
advantage
can
of
take
them.
advantage.
So
Correct.
for me, yeah. So for me in 2021, out of the 7.5 million, about 60-70% of my profits all came after July, which is it wasn't a linear
Yes.
year where I was like a million, 1.2, 1. It wasn't like that. It was legit a flat, good 6 months, and then after summertime, the market started moving. It started moving in my favor of things I wanted to trade, and my reads, and it all worked out really, really, really well.
Correct. Great. 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 Great insights. Thank you so much for the clean insights about this thing. Now, one thing I want to ask more here. Beginners do a lot of mistakes on this, and I try to make it things in Hindi and easy for them, but they still want to hear it from you. When it comes to, let's say, cutting losses, that's fine. We follow risk management. But when it comes to holding our profits, what are the things that kept you into a trade that, okay, you're up 2 million? 2 million is a very big number. What kept you to not trade anymore and, let's say, make bigger rewards in a single trade? How do you hold your profits for long? Is there any special psychology, or you have your edge specifically? Okay, I'm gonna get it out at this specific zone only, else I'm not gonna cut my positions.
Sure. So two things that have worked really well for me on holding winners is number
Yeah.
one, I scale out.
Okay.
So if I'm up in a position and I'm
Yeah.
on like 30 grand,
Okay.
I'll take like 30% off. I'll lock something in just
Oh,
to,
okay.
to get some
Great.
wiggle room in. I'm like, I've locked something in.
Great. Great.
Second thing is I'll re-look at that position without me having an entry. So for example, let's say I got into a position, I'm up 30 grand.
Perfect.
I might say, well, let's say I didn't have a position. Would I buy here?
Oh,
If the answer is no,
no.
that means, okay, I should get out of my position.
Oh, that's
And
good.
most of it, because what happened is when we have a position, we're attached to our position, we're
Correct.
attached to the money element.
Correct.
So when we look at the trade, we're like, I should take my profit, I shouldn't hold. But if I flip it and I go, well, what if I didn't have a position and I was to take a new position, would I take it right now? Does it make sense? Does this stock or instrument have room to move up?
Great. This thing really, I think everybody is hearing this. This is a very, very nice thing which you just said. You think it like you don't have a position, enter at this time. If the answer is no, get it out. If the answer is yes, hold your positions. Very nice. Appreciate it. Very nice. Okay. So now another question is basically to trading psychology, how to work on it and how to focus on it.
So every single person is going to have different trading psychology problems. Like I'm going to have different ones than you are. You're going to have different ones than the next one.
Yes.
So we all have to first identify what our problems are, right?
Okay.
So it just works in an element of a map. We have to first go and identify. And identifying psychology problems will start popping up when we're taking real trades. So if you and I start taking real trades with real money, not paper trading, we will start seeing what those elements are.
Correct.
So those elements, we start looking at them, we want to start mapping them. We want to start identifying, okay, this is what happens when I'm in a red trade. What are the feelings I start feeling?
Yeah.
So what I did very early on is whenever I would take on trades, I would have an area for me to write down what I felt from a mental point.
Yeah.
Hey, I lost money.
Yeah.
What did I feel? Hey, I was in drawdown. What did I feel? Hey, I was up $2,000 in 2 minutes. What did I feel?
Great.
So I'll give you an example of an entry that I've had in the past where, hey, I'm up $2,000. What do I feel? I feel like I don't want to sell. I want to make more.
Okay.
Why am I feel greedy? Okay, so I get it. I get this element of greed when I'm in a position. Oh, what happens when I'm in a losing trade?
Yeah.
And it hits my stop loss and I don't sell. Oh, I don't sell because I think it's going to go up higher. I have a harder time taking a loss.
Yes.
So phase one is mapping out what those incidents are. that are happening after you make money, lose money. What happens even when you're sitting on your hands? Like there's times I've sat on my hands and I felt impatience, like, oh, I have to take on a trade. I have to put a size on. I have to do something. And that caused me to, lose money or take stupid trades.
Correct.
So I think when you identify the issues and problems first, the next phase is now tackling them individually.
Okay.
So for example, hey, when I am up and I feel greedy, sell half of my position.
Hmm.
Right? If I feel that,
Makes
sell
sense.
half.
Correct.
If let's say after two trades and I feel fearful or I feel angry, walk away from the screen. If I'm in front of my computer for 2 hours and I haven't taken a trade and I feel impatience and I feel like I need to put on a trade, close my screen and leave. Don't
Correct.
just sit there and say I'm not going to trade. Just close my screen and leave.
And leave.
So these are kind of like
Nice.
things that we start establishing. It starts helping our trading, because the problem with trading is like, yeah, we don't have a boss, we don't have anyone
Yes.
to look over
Yes.
us. It
Yes.
sounds great,
Yeah, it
but
sounds
it's actually
great.
a really bad thing to not have someone or
Correct.
something over you to come
Correct.
tell you you will get penalized if you do X,
Correct.
Y, and Z.
Correct. Most of the times,
Yeah.
sometimes there has been times in my trading when I'm onto a trade, I sometimes feel like there should be someone, kicking me out from the here. Just close the screen, get out. Sometimes it feels
Yeah.
like there should be someone over you. It feels great when we're starting key that we don't have any bosses or it's just very relaxed. But yeah, that was a great point. Perfect. So now another question is, when it comes to consistency, everybody say you just if you want to really make in trading, just be consistent. I also say this thing. What that consistency mean and how to be consistent in trading? Because usually
Sure.
what happens is sometimes, let's say if a person is there who has his own system, when he start getting drawdown or something, if it's not that working for him, they generally flip the things and they just be inconsistent. So how basically to be consistent in trading?
Sure. So consistency in trading is number one, doing things on a day-to-day basis that don't relate solely to your P&L. So for example,
Okay.
consistency could be, hey, I'm not going to take more than a $500 loss in a single day.
Perfect.
That's consistent.
Perfect.
That's things we can
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
Consistency, you showing up every day and saying, I'm going to make a pre-market game plan, write it out before I go into the session,
Correct.
write every scenario out. And then when the session is done, I go back and I lay that out. That's
Great.
consistency.
Great.
Consistency is also you having a set defined playbooks or strategies and you only trade those. That is consistency, right? If I say these are my 3 or 4 playbooks and randomly I wake up tomorrow and I trade a random stuff that wasn't on my playbook, that wasn't on my game plan, that's not consistency.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So those are things that I think you start going into a level of consistency in terms of managing risk properly, like doing things that are in our control. We can't control
Great.
if we're going to make money or not. We can control how much we risk. We can control
Yes.
what we execute on. We can
Yes.
control on our habits, routines that we do. And if we
Absolutely.
do those things consistently,
Yeah.
slowly and surely, you will make money.
Great. That was a very clean answer, very specific, defined consistency. Very nice. So, how basically, when it comes to risk management, how do you manage risk and what you will advise? What kind of risk management we should follow if you want to make in trading?
So the risk management I follow, I don't recommend developing traders to follow.
Okay.
That's number one.
Okay.
Right. And I'll tell you why. Right. So
Yeah.
I think if you're a developing trader, every
Yes.
developing trader should risk 1%, 0.5% of their account size. They should keep that consistent. They should be very risk focused in terms of every trade they take,
Correct.
because the goal of a developing trader is to make sure you stay alive in the markets. It's
Yes.
not for you to go and make money, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
how do I stay alive? How do I take as many trades as I possibly can with having the least amount of drawdown possible, where at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter, I'm still up or I'm flat or I'm break even, right?
Correct.
That's where I think developing traders should focus. My risk now is a little bit different, where every trade I go into is not a consistent risk. My risk is based on market opportunity. My risk is based on my setups. My risk is based on how I've been trading. So if I do have a good week, good 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I do see a good opportunity, I have a good read on the opportunity,
Okay.
I will maybe go and risk 40 grand, 50 grand, right? Now, if let's say the read isn't as great, I'm a little bit, in and out.
Yes.
My trading also has been a little bit sloppy, I'll maybe risk 15 or 20. So that risk element gets a little bit consistent.
Okay.
If you want to make big money in the
Yes.
markets, in my opinion, you have to know where to be more risk aggressive
Yes.
and be a little bit defensive
Yes.
on risk. Those
Yes.
two things is a skill set. But I think that's only when you kind of get out the developing phase trader.
Great, great. So basically,
Yeah.
it cannot be like, you just see someone and you just copy his risk management. It depends if you're
Yeah.
developing stage or you are actually into a main trading session. So it's
Yeah.
different for everyone. Perfect, perfect,
Yes.
perfect. So now last thing, everybody wants to know, especially my audience, what's your trading
Right.
strategy? And what is your take on when it comes to trading strategies? Because there are a lot of people are selling strategies that you use this strategy and you'll make a lot of money. People are selling algos. What's Umar Ashraf saying? If this is my strategy, and what's your take on this strategy thing? Is there any specific strategy where a person can make a lot of money? Any secret kind of a thing? What do you think?
I don't think a secret thing exists. Now, think about it, right? If a secret thing existed where you could do one, two, three and make money, why would you sell that? Why not
Correct,
utilize that in your own?
correct,
Right?
correct,
Just
correct.
in my opinion, it doesn't make sense. It's BS. It's just people trying to sell people stuff. And you at a point I felt bad where it's like, oh, it's people sell. But it's like people fall into it. People are
Yes,
so high on wanting to
yes,
make quick money.
yes,
They're so
yes,
wired to wanting to just
yes.
make money today
Absolutely,
that they're
absolutely.
buying anything and everything that kind of says that they can do that, which is
Yes,
not the case. Like
not the case.
there's nothing like that exists.
Correct.
And I hate to say it, but that's the truth of it.
Yes.
I think no indicator, no special secret sauce
Correct.
will automatically make any
Correct.
person,
Correct.
money.
Correct.
Now, going in terms of my strategy, where
Yeah.
it's like, even if I sold my strategy and I'm like, this is my
Ha-
strategy,
yeah.
it won't work for everyone because I can show you a strategy and I can show you a focus point, but you need the experience and you need the reps in to be able to read the market efficiently, to be able to execute it. Right.
Correct.
A
Correct.
strategy in the market is not as linear as buy and sell.
Exactly.
It's identifying the movements in the market, which are different in every single scenario, and
Correct.
being able to read those scenarios and execute
Scenarios.
on that. Right?
Hmm.
Strategies in the market, I think people have an idea that if it, once again, like I said before, if
Hmm.
it hits a level, you buy. If it hits
Yeah.
this level, you
Yeah. Yeah.
sell.
Yeah.
It's not as
Most of the
simple as
people are
that.
doing the same thing. Correct.
Yeah. And it's not as simple as that at
It's
all.
not
A
simple at all.
strategy element is like kind of identifying that what is the market telling you. So for me, the way I approach the market is I look at everything as a simple auction, right?
Okay.
So everything in the market that's happening, there's transactions between buyers and sellers,
Sellers.
right?
Absolutely.
You have aggressive buyers or you have passive buyers. You have
Passive
aggressive
buyers.
sellers, you have passive
Correct.
sellers, right? So
Correct.
the idea for me is to identify who is in control. And all
Hmm.
of that starts from first the context. I always start off with the context. What is the context of the market? So, for example, today's August 28th, the market is waiting for NVIDIA's earnings,
Hmm.
right? There's a lot of
Hmm.
cash on the
Hmm.
side.
Hmm.
People are waiting.
Hmm.
NVIDIA is going to move the market.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
that's why if you look at action right now, action is dead,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
I as a trader that has went through my developing phase, realize these small little nuances
Hmm.
in the market
Hmm.
where I'm like, okay, well, the context of the market is today, market is waiting for Nvidia. Just don't even try to put on a trade. Maybe pay
Correct.
attention to what happened.
Correct.
But
Correct.
let's say you put Nvidia out.
Hmm.
I look at the context of the market in the past week, 2 weeks,
Hmm.
and what the context of the market is in the past, the forward month or two. So,
Hmm.
for example, yesterday I took a trade where I made 50 grand,
Hmm.
and my trade yesterday started off with, hey, pre-market, the market sold off.
Okay.
We had an aggressive sell-off in the market.
Hmm.
I think it was an oversold, sold off. I don't think it was a really strong one,
Hmm.
but who cares what I think? Let's see what the
Absolutely.
market tells me.
Great. Great.
Now, when the market opens up, I also break down my levels in the market in three intervals. So,
Hmm.
for U.S. markets, the market opens up at 9:30 a.m.
Hmm.
So 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., and 11 a.m. are three different sessions for me.
Okay.
So 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. are both essentially initial balances,
Okay.
right? Depending on who you ask, but those are two initial balances. A
Hmm.
lot of institutions, a lot of big players get involved around then. Also, a lot of economic data comes around 10 a.m.
Yes.
So a lot of players are on the sidelines. So those three intervals become really, really important for me. So I look at time as well in terms
Okay.
of what time frame are we in.
All
So
right.
if I'm going into a session, 9:30 to 10 is one kind of session.
Okay.
10:30 to 10 to 10:30 is session two. 10:30 to 11 is session three. Then if you want to make session four, you can make that session four. But those are three important sessions.
Okay.
And where price goes and magnets towards around those sessions are very important for me.
Okay.
So in my strategy, it's not a one, two, three. My strategy is essentially reading the market
Hmm.
and identifying who is in control.
All
So
right.
yesterday, it was market opens up. We have a quick push to the downside. Market holds. Once the market holds, as I'm looking at order flow, I'm looking at footprint charts. I'm
Okay.
seeing that the markets are present. The buyers are present here.
All
As the
right.
buyers are present, do I know for sure that the market's gonna go up? I don't. I
Absolutely.
go, well, this is where my risk is. This is how much I'm willing to risk if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
My edge or my probability of this going higher is present. So I will take this trade, understanding that I may be wrong,
Yeah.
but I have good chances that I might be right on a probability aspect,
Hmm.
right? So that's why when people ask me about selling a strategy, I'm like, I can sell you that,
Yeah.
but you won't
Chances.
know how to apply it and you won't make money off
Exactly,
it.
exactly, exactly. So basically, you are very much into a real kind of a data that what market is trying to tell you, and you make plan accordingly, and then you execute it, right? Considering your risk that you can go wrong at any time, right? It's
Yes.
not like basically, you just draw support resistance levels or a trend line or something like that. No, you're not taking trades accordingly, correct? Reading the real time data, order flow, footprint. I also use a lot this footprint charts. I also use it a
Oh,
lot
nice,
to
nice,
basically,
nice.
basically to get the absorption and all these things, where the buying pressure is getting in, where the
Yeah.
selling pressure is getting in. And now I've shifted to that. Earlier, I used to trade a lot with just basic support resistance. That kind of worked for me, but it was not, it was not giving that edge to me. Now this has given me the edge. So perfect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yes. Part of this is cool. It gives you the kind of the structure of the market
yes,
where potential buyers, sellers may
yes,
be.
yes,
But
yes,
then when you open up the curtains, you start
yes.
seeing where they're actually sitting. Where is liquidity? Where are the
Correct,
buyers? Are they
correct,
absorbing these orders? Are they
correct.
selling these orders? What's going on around these levels?
Correct, correct. One thing which really helped me in support resistance, that earlier what I used to do is back in like 4, 5, 6 years back, I used to draw support resistance line. I used to simply, when a trade is in the support zone, I simply used to get in. But then I did some research, and there was one person. His name is David Paul. He used to be a hedge fund manager. I think he's no more. But he always says ki when it price reaches support or resistance, you should always see how the price is reacting. If it's reacting that way, then only go. So thank you so much for all these great insights. And I hope if a person really wants to make in trading, I think he can get all the insights from beginner to how basically you have to make it perfect. So yeah, that was really good. Anything extra that you want to share, a person who is, because I feel a lot of people are already into trading these days, but they are making losses. Some are losing hopes. So what you will say to them, that when who are losing hopes or who are not making money, where should they specifically focus? You already told a lot of things. They should get the point, but what will be the specific point for that?
I think one thing every developing every person should just kind
Yes.
of have is be totally honest with yourself, right?
Mm.
Like my first year of trading, I didn't really do anything right. I wasn't doing the right things. I was just trying to make money. I was just putting on trades to put on trades. And then I
Right.
remember that summer I was kind of like, well, am I actually taking this as a real career? Am I actually putting in the time and effort that I need to as a professional, or am I
Mm.
just gambling? And then
Mm.
when
This
I
is
kind of
serious.
asked
Great.
myself, yeah, when I asked myself that, I was like, I'm just gambling. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not putting in the time. I'm opening up my screen, clicking buttons, hoping to make money, and
Hmm.
not aiming to be a professional trader. So then I was like, let me rewire it backwards. If I'm a professional trader, what are the things I should be doing? And when I go, these are the things I should be doing. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing any of them. I don't have any proper education. I have no real foundation. I have no real game plan. I have no real activities that I'm doing.
Correct.
So when I reflip that, that kind of made me just be honest with myself and doing the things I should be. Because a lot of people on here, going back to the selling indicator or selling whatever,
Yes. Yes.
they're buying something from someone, they lose money, they lose
Yes.
hope.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's like, guys, like I'll tell you something honestly, 95 to 99% of people you see on social media are BS. If they're selling you with a lifestyle,
Hmm.
run away.
Run away.
Just don't. If I have to come to you and say, here's a lifestyle that I live, come and buy my thing because I live this lifestyle,
Correct.
run away from that person.
And
Go
and
and learn from people. Yeah,
correct. And when it comes to lifestyle, you can show so many things, and people
easy.
will be go
It's
crazy
easy.
that, oh damn, he has this, he has that. Let me get into his strategy. Very nice.
Exactly.
Very
It's
nice.
and the whole market has now become that where it's like rent a car or buy a car or whatever, showcase you own this car, get people to buy a course. And it's like the market is so flooded with that. So it's like if you keep buying these people's things,
Yes.
you're obviously gonna not do well. So
Not do
start
well.
looking at people that are actually offering value. Like your stuff, I've seen your content. It's actual value. It's not,
Thank you so much.
hey
Thank you so
guys,
much.
look at my car, look at my this, look at it's like actual value,
No,
you know?
no.
So you want to gravitate towards
Yes.
actual value.
Yes.
And then you want to take the value and dissect it and understand it.
Yes.
And if you guys are able to do that and do the things you're supposed to do as a developing trader, you will get to a point of profitability over time.
Correct. That's really great advice for all the people who are there, and this actually gives the confidence also to them that it is not impossible, because I
Yeah.
know most of the people who might be seeing this might be in a developing stage or have been in the market for 2 3 years. They think like trading is a scam and it's not going to work. And they think it's a quick rich scheme. They get into the trading and then they think that it's not going to work. Trading is a scam, and then they simply just don't follow the thing. So now this is a great advice for you all, so you can just follow this. Perfect. All right, thank you so much. That was so great insights. I don't know how to express myself at the moment, but I genuinely want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because lot of the points that I have got by this whole podcast ki, okay, now these are the points that where you can put your hard work and you can improve, especially that journaling thing, after the trade. Because usually what happens is, I don't know abhi, how many people are there who are in the market from 8 9 years, but when we spend 8 9 years in the market, we think that okay, now we know everything. Now it's not
Yeah.
good, it's not good to again back test your strategies, what you did in the market. You just know your plan and you just execute it, but it's very important if you want to improve. So that's really a great
I
advice for
agree.
me as well. Thank you so much
I
for
agree.
that.
I agree. Thank
Perfect.
you, man.
So I hope you liked the video and got lot of information, and I hope you had made your notes as well. So another thing which you want to do is go to Umar Ashraf channel, subscribe to him, because he is actually dropping the real knowledge. Because I'm telling you, there are very few people that actually tell their secrets and actually tell that what is actually real way to make money, how actually is to approach the market, what are the real things in trading that actually work. So if a person is there, he deserves appreciation. So you need to go to his channel and appreciate him and subscribe, and let's just grow as a stronger community.